Hi, do you love organizing? Do people tell you you should start a professional organizing business? Maybe you enjoy decluttering closets, creating systems, rearranging kitchens, and helping friends get their homes under control. But here is the real question. Do you enjoy organizing, or are you prepared to serve paying clients as a professional? Those are not the same thing. Professional organizing can be meaningful and rewarding, but it does require much more than being neat, creative, or good with containers. Today, I want to help you understand what this profession really requires so you can decide whether it may be the right career for you. Now, my name is Carrie Fullerton with Fullerton Professional Organizing, and I'm a professional organizer. I'm a coach and a business owner. I have worked with real people in real homes through clutter, paperwork, downsizing, moving, ADHD related challenges, family changes, and overwhelming seasons of life, while at the same time going through my own seasons of life. I also help people who are considering professional organizing as a career and understand what it takes to serve clients well and build a legitimate service-based business. This video is not about giving you a complete business startup formula. Instead, I want to explain the why and the what behind this profession. I want you to understand what professional organizers actually do, what clients need from us, and what qualifies you, honestly, to evaluate so that you can decide to enter this field. I want you to understand what professional organizers actually do, what clients need from us, and what you should honestly evaluate before deciding to enter this field. Let's begin with one of the biggest misconceptions. Number one is loving organization is not enough. Many people become interested in professional organizing because they enjoy organizing their own home. They may love labels, storage products, closet planners, filing systems, or before and after transformation. There is nothing wrong with that. Those interests may be part of what draws you to the profession, but organizing your own home is very different from organizing someone else's home. And I did take a course before I started just for that reason. So, in your own home, you make the decisions. You know what matters to you. You know your routines. You understand why you own certain things. Sometimes organizers aren't perfect either. You can decide what stays, what goes, and how the space should function. When you work with a client, though, those decisions are not yours. You are entering someone else's space, their history, their relationships, responsibilities, and emotions. You may see a pile of clutter, and the client may see memories or unfinished responsibilities, maybe a little guilt, financial loss, family conflict, or a season of life that maybe has ended. Maybe it was good that it ended. Maybe it was not good that it ended. Professional organizer cannot walk into a home and simply impose their own personal preferences. Our job is not to make the client live the way we live. Our job is to understand what the client needs and help create systems that support that person's real life, the life they're living right now. Sometimes they don't even know. That requires judgment, patience, listening, and it also a little bit of restraint. I've had clients that were tired and just threw away a lot of memories. I set them and didn't take them on the first go around, and sure enough, when I came back, they were a little worried, and I said, "Don't worry, here they are. I left them here on purpose just because It seemed like you were tired and you were ready to get rid of a lot of photos that maybe you weren't ready to get rid of. So I came back to a happy client instead of someone that was upset because we prematurely released some photos that they had not yet processed. So it also requires humility to recognize that your favorite organizing method may not be right for every person. Now, that leads to the most important truth about professional organizing. This work is not primarily about things. It really isn't about things. It seems like it's about things on the outside, but it is really about people. Now, number 2 is the work is about people. Professional organizers work with people who may feel embarrassed, discouraged, exhausted, or afraid of being judged. Some clients have tried repeatedly to organize their homes and cannot understand why nothing lasts. Some are dealing with ADHD, limited mobility, caregiving responsibilities that are exhausting, grief, maybe some chronic illness, chronic stress, or some really major life changes. Not everything is about the stuff. Some are clearing a parent's home. Some are trying to manage paperwork after the death of a loved one. Some are running a business from a space that really no longer functions because of the piles and piles of things or systems that no longer work. The organizer must understand that the visible clutter is only part of the situation. A client may need practical help, but the client also needs dignity. That means you must be able to enter a difficult space without making facial expressions, jokes, gossiping, or showing shock and horror. You must be able to listen without taking over. You must be able to guide decisions without forcing them to make quick decisions. You must be able to recognize when the client needs to take a moment. You must also understand that progress may look different from what you imagined before entering the home. A professional organizer may have a plan, but the plan must remain flexible enough to serve the client. This is one reason professional organizing requires more than natural organizing ability. It requires emotional maturity. Now, number 3, emotional skills organizers need. Let's talk about some of the emotional and interpersonal skills involved in this work. First, you need patience. Clients do not always make decisions quickly. There's a lot of stories behind all the items. An item that seems insignificant to you may carry important memory or responsibility for them. It may even be something that they use to replace grief in their life. Second, you need to listen. Professional organizing is not about talking constantly or proving how much you know. You need to hear what the client says, notice what the client avoids, and understand what the client wants the space to accomplish. Third, you need compassion without becoming emotionally entangled. Now, you can care about the client without trying to rescue the client. You can support the client without taking responsibility for every single decision made. Fourth, you need confidence. A client is paying for professional guidance. That means you must be able to make recommendations, explain your reasons, and set priorities, and keep the project moving without offending. Compassion and confidence must work together. Too little compassion can make the client feel judged. Too little confidence can lead the client feeling unsupported. You also need your frustration. Clients may change their minds. Family members may disagree. A project may move more slowly than expected. A client may become tired, distracted, or emotionally overwhelmed. The professional organizer must remain steady. If every unexpected situation makes you impatient or defensive, this work may become difficult very quickly. Now, emotional skill is essential, but there is another part of the work that people often underestimate. Professional organizing can also be physically demanding. Number 4, physical demands of professional organizing is not always a quiet afternoon arranging pantry containers. Depending on your services, you may spend hours standing, bending, lifting, reaching, sorting, and carrying, packing, unpacking, and moving through tight space. Garages can be hot, yes, especially here in the very bottom tip of South Texas. Storage areas can be dusty. Moving projects can involve long days and tight deadlines. Downsizing projects may require handling years of possessions. Now, paper projects, that's a whole nother beast. It may involve hours of close concentration and repetitive decision making. You need to consider your physical capacity honestly. That does not mean every organizer must offer physically demanding services. You can choose. I can only do garages for 3 hours in the heat, but I can bring a bin into the house and sort and then go back to the garage. Now, professional organizers can specialize. Some work primarily through virtual sessions. Some focus on just paperwork or some on photos. Some offer coaching, as I do. Some organize businesses and offices. Some specialize in move management, unpacking seniors, families, and the occasional ADHD friendly systems. But you need to understand what your chosen service requires. You also need to recognize your limits. Professionalism includes knowing when you need an assistant, when a task requires another type of provider, and when a project is outside your scope. I have offered recommendations for those that need personal assistance, bringing all of the things that they order back to the store for returns. Trying to prove that you can do everything is not a strength. It can become a safety problem. Now, number 5, professionalism, ethics, and confidentiality. When clients invite you into their homes, they are trusting you with private information. You may see financial documents, medical information. You may see photos, personal response, medications, legal papers, or evidence of difficult family circumstances. That information does not belong in casual conversations or social media posts. A professional organizer must protect client confidentiality. That's part of our job. Before and after photos should never be assumed. Client stories should not be shared without permission. Even when a story is anonymous, you need to consider whether the client could still be recognized. Professionalism also includes clear boundaries. You need to understand, what service are you providing? What are you not providing? Who makes final decisions? What happens when the session ends? What happens when the client cancels? Who is responsible for donations, disposal, cleaning, repairs, or transportation? What happens when the project becomes larger than expected? These questions may not seem exciting when you first imagine becoming an organizer, but unclear boundaries create misunderstandings. Policies protect both you and the client. Integrity matters in this business. The client should be able to trust what you say, what you charge, how you handle possessions, and how you represent the project. And that brings us to another major difference between helping someone organize and running an actual organizing business. You need business skills. All businesses run off of business skills. Professional organizers need business skills. Many talented organizers struggle because they focus only on the organizing work, but a professional organizing business also requires pricing, scheduling, marketing, consultations, client communication, policies, payment collection, record keeping, follow up, service development, time management, expense tracking, and lead generation, and consistent decision making. You need to know who you serve and what problem you solve. You need it to communicate your services clearly. You need to charge enough to cover more than the hours spent inside a client's home. Your working hours are not your own business hours. There is travel, there's preparation, communication, administration, marketing, purchasing, scheduling, and yes, follow up, even though sometimes we don't have time for the follow up, but we need to make time for following up. A rate may sound good until you calculate the unpaid time and business expenses surrounding it. Are you charging enough? You also need a reliable client experience. A client should understand what happens after making contact with you. The process should not feel improvised every time. You do not need to have a large company or complicated operation, but you do need professional structure. This is one of the areas where coaching and mentorship can be valuable. An experienced mentor can help you see problems before those problems cost you too much money, confidence, or your client's trust. Now, common misconceptions about this career. Let's address several common conceptions. If you can say that word 10 times. Misconception. Misconception number 1. Your home must always be perfect. It does not. Professional organizers are human beings. The issue is not whether your home ever becomes messy. The issue is whether you understand organizing principles, recognize problems, and create functional solutions to those problems. Misconception number 2, I'm going to just say concept, and then I'm just going to say number 2, number 3, and stop trying to say that word. You need to own every organizing product. You do not. Professional organizing is not product sales. Products can support a system, but products do not replace analysis, decision making, or good placement. Now, number 3, you will spend all day making beautiful spaces. Some projects become visually beautiful, others create safety, accessibility, reduce stress, easier caregiving, or a successful move. The transformation may be deeply valuable without looking like a magazine. Magazine perfection may not work for someone who, once something's out of sight, they forget where it is, okay? Now, number 4, clients will always follow your advice. Well, they may not. The client controls the final decision. You can explain, guide, encourage, recommend. You can take the horse to water, but you can't make the horse drink. You cannot force someone to release possessions or maintain a system. Now, number 5, good organizing automatically creates a profitable business. It does not. Profitability requires appropriate pricing for an appropriate living, clear services, consistent marketing, good boundaries, and sound business decisions. Now, number 6, you must serve every kind of client or you won't make any money. You do not. You may be better suited to a particular population or service. Some organizers love garages. Some love paper. I know how to handle but it's not my favorite. Some enjoy moving projects, which I did not think I would enjoy, and I do. Some work best with businesses. Some are especially effective with seniors or ADHD households. Those are my jam. Understanding your strengths is part of building a sustainable business. Now, how can you tell whether professional organizing may be a good fit for you? You may be well suited to professional organizing if you enjoy helping people solve problems. You can listen without immediately taking control, being bossy, a little too bossy. You respect people whose homes and habits are different from yours. You are comfortable making decisions while remaining flexible. You can work steadily without needing instant results. You can protect private information. You are willing to communicate clearly about money and boundaries. Those are important. You can remain calm when another person feels overwhelmed. I've had clients that I've overwhelmed in the process, and I've had to figure out how to work with a client. You understand that organizing is a service, not a performance. You are willing to learn business skills. You can accept that the client's definition of success may be different from yours, and you are prepared to keep learning. Professional organizers need compassion, but we also need good judgment. We need creativity, but we also need consistency. We need flexibility, but we also need boundaries. We need a heart to serve, but we also need to operate a responsible. For me, integrity and stewardship are important parts of this work. People trust us with their homes, possessions, stories, time, and money. That trust should be handled carefully. All right, when can coaching or mentorship help? You can learn a great deal from books, videos, professional organizations, and experience. But information alone does not always tell you what applies to your business, your market, your capacity, or even your goals. A mentor can help you evaluate questions such as, what service should I offer? Should I have a niche? What is my niche? How do I find my niche? Who are you best equipped to serve? How should you position your business? What should you consider when setting rates? What policies do you need? How do you conduct a professional consultation? How do you protect your time without becoming inflexible? How do you handle situations you have never encountered? How do you move from interest to a legitimate business? Mentorship does not remove the work. It helps you perform the work with a greater clarity and fewer preventable mistakes. It helps you perform the work with greater clarity and fewer preventable mistakes. It also gives you a place to ask questions that generic advice just cannot answer. So, do you have what it takes to become a professional organizer? Do you need to be perfect? You do not need to know everything before you begin, and you do not need to look or work exactly like another organizer. Not even if I am your mentor, you still don't have to fashion it after the way I do it. But you need to understand that this profession is about much more than tidy rooms. It's about serving people with competence, patience, sound judgment, clear boundaries, and integrity. It is also about building a business that can support both your clients and your own responsibilities. Now, if this video helped you recognize that professional organizing may be the right direction for you, your next step is to learn more about professional organizer coaching and mentorship. Use the link in this description to explore coaching, training, or consultation with me, Fullerton's Professional Organizing. You can find that on my website. It's the best next step for serious viewers. who want help turning their interest in organizing into a professional service. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more honest conversations about becoming a professional organizer, serving clients well, and building an organizing business with professionalism and integrity. I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.